Hey folks, this clip is brought to you by Farm Bureau Health Plans. For better coverage, better rates, and better service, go to fbhp.com/ATOZ. That is Farm Bureau Health Plans. Tennessee played this exhibition game. It was a charity game for Maui. Obviously, unbelievable wildfires in Maui that just mowed down an entire portion of that island. It was horrific. And this was a charity thing to support that, very much needed. And I thought that was great. And this was so cool. Like the entire setup of this game, it was an exhibition game, but both teams played their real rosters. Tennessee was without Santiago Vescovi and without Zakai Ziegler. Zakai Ziegler still coming back from blowing out his knee. Santiago Vescovi, I believe his grandmother is ill and he had to go back to Uruguay. So prayers to his family there. But Tennessee was without them. But Michigan State played their whole roster. They came out with the stars in this game, and it was rocking. It was a real road game. And just a super impressive thing. I thought it was amazing. And it's an amazing experience for both of those teams to in the preseason be able to play a real game against a real opponent and actually like feel pressure and just kind of gut it out in a game like that. I thought it was so cool. And Tennessee won. Tennessee squeaked it out. I believe 89-88 on a quite literal last second free throw from Justin Gainey. Did you get to watch this game? I know you were doing kids baseball practices and stuff, right?
Yeah, I was at a baseball tournament pretty much all day. Most of what I was watching was NFL on my iPad. I was kind of like you with some, or with you at the Kentucky game, catching some updates and kind of looking at everything after. And I did, like, my first question for you was like, how much do you take away from a big win like that? Because that's a lot of points for Tennessee to give up considering their defense. And then without Vescovi and Ziegler playing, who is this team? Do you know yet? How does all that fit back in? There's a lot of questions that I have after a game like that. As far as it's exhibition, but like you said, it's almost like a regular season kind of March, vibe that you get the juices going and you're playing in that game. You want to win. Like you didn't just say, oh, it's an exhibition game, but you get in that kind of atmosphere. Competitors compete. Like you want to go out there and win the game. So what was your big takeaway from that as far as how much we should put into it moving forward into the season?
I take away a lot. First of all, because again, I mean, Michigan State played their dudes. This was not them just putting the scrubs out there and it was just, oh, we're having fun and this is for charity. It was for charity and it was fun. And they did some cool things. Like they talked to Barnes and why am I blanking on Michigan State's coach? Tom Izzo. They talked to Tom Izzo during the game. And it was kind of funny. Like they brought in both of them at the same time and they like talked to each other during the game. It was kind of cool. I really, really liked that element of it. And it was interesting to hear kind of their thoughts. Obviously, they were not as intense as they would have been in a regular season or postseason game. But no, I mean, the entire thing, the place was sold out. And it was absolutely raucous, packed to the hilt with crazy students right on top of you. I mean, Michigan State has a proper setup with their students. No offense to Danny White. I hate the setup with the students. Tennessee, put them next to the court. Really give them a chance to bear down on teams. I hate that. But I mean, it was the real deal. And Tennessee just flashed. Like came out, I believe, 17-1 early in the game. And obviously, folks are already bringing it up in the comments here. Mr. Jones and Elias all mentioned it. Dalton Connect. Oh, I had the box score here: 28 points, 7 rebounds, 4 assists, and then he was a monster, and he threw down a monster jam right on somebody's head that was just beautiful. He was incredibly physical. He was great shooting the ball. And if that's any indication of what we're going to see going forward, I mean, he did it against Michigan State. It's not like he did it against some bum team like you're about to play in some of these other exhibitions or the one exhibition and then some of the warm-up games you have. No, I mean, this was real competition, and he clowned him on some of these plays. And then Justin Gainey, who's a coach's kid. I mean, Jordan Gainey. Justin Gainey is his dad. I mean, he's a coach's kid. and he 20 points, 6 assists, 3 rebounds. He went off, and he was great from 3-point. And I think he'll be a killer spot up shooter. Connect will be too. Killer spot up shooter that could be facilitated
Which
by
is
Sagai and
something
by
that
Santi.
really
Oh,
missed last season.
they wanted Tyreek Key to be that all last season. They really wanted him to be, come in from off the bench and go make some buckets. And it just never came together. I think either one of those guys, well, Connect's going to be a starter. I think Gainey is probably
Yeah,
going to come off the bench.
what do you think? Yeah, that's what I want to know. Like with Vescovy and then Ziegler, who sounds like he's much closer to playing than I ever thought he would be this early in the season. I mean, what do you think? How do you see the starting five? What do you think is ideal? How does that? I mean, it's going to take a few games probably to shake out to figure out how, because Barnes hasn't really been able to play Ziegler in those spots yet. How do you think all that should shake out or does shake out?
You have a ton of options here. The depth on this basketball team is really, really impressive. Especially if you end up bringing in this guy has apparently been kind of in the doghouse with Barnes, but like a DJ Jefferson. I mean, he didn't see supposedly an incredible physical specimen, but has had some, I don't know, behavioral stuff in the offseason. I don't know. Barnes kind of alluded to it in some of his press conferences. Farm Bureau Health Plans has been serving Tennesseans for over 75 years, and much has changed in Tennessee over the years, but some has stayed the same. Farm Bureau Health Plans has always valued personal relationships, especially when it comes to good health and good service. Plan on Farm Bureau Health Plans for health, dental, and vision. For better coverage, better rates, and better service, go to fbhp.com/ATOZ or walk into one of their 200 plus locations across the state of Tennessee. That is fbhp.com/ATOZ. Farm Bureau Health Plans. But like him, JP Estrella, another young guy that you're not sure exactly what you're going to see from him. But like some of those dudes, you can get all the way down to those levels and probably find some production. And then in that starting five, it's really 7 or 8. I mean, just take your pick. Jonas Adu, Josiah Jordan-James, Santi, Zakai. I would assume that when they're all healthy, all of them will be starters. Connect probably the 5th there. Then Toby off the bench, maybe because Toby didn't look as crisp and as developed as I thought he would. Toby Awaka, but it's a exhibition game to start the season off. You never really know. What did he put up? 8 points, 4 rebounds. Like it was just kind of But I think he'll come off the bench behind Adu, and you just work it down from there. I mean, DeLeone looked, or however you say his last name, DeLeone. Not totally sure. Jemai Meshack. I mean, maybe Meshack started in that game. I'm not sure if it would be him, Josiah Jordan-James. You got a lot of options, and that's just the truth with this team. And I'm not sure exactly where Barnes is going to go, but you walked into Izzo's house, and you didn't just beat him. You kind of just ran that game from front to back. Went wire to wire. They never trailed. The game, Michigan State tied the game with like 4 seconds left, and then fouled Justin Gainey by accident, and he made the free throw to win. But yeah, I was incredibly impressed. I thought it was an amazing warm up. I think it's so great that they got that experience to start, and I'm excited. I am very, very intrigued by what I saw. And all of a sudden, you had a bunch of like national pundits going, "Oh, Tennessee might be a Final Four team. Look at what they just did, going to Michigan State and this and that." So I don't know. We'll see. Could this be the one that Rick breaks through with?
No, I mean, maybe the talent's there. You got to keep everybody healthy and hope everybody gels the right way, because in college basketball, I've always thought some of the best teams, the depth is nice, but I think you really got to settle in on like a 8-9 man rotation at most. Like that always usually feels to me like the sweet spot where everybody kind of knows their role, knows when they're coming in, who they're coming in for, they're getting minutes. It can be tough when you're not getting minutes to play. That's what I'm interested to see how Barnes balances the playing time, because you are super deep and you do have these guys that you want to get in. Do you limit Josiah Jordan-James minutes a little bit to keep him healthier? Just there's a lot of options there, and I'm interested to see how it all shakes out. And it could take a few weeks, I think, for that to kind of happen.
I think it will. You got some tough games early on in the season. You got to go to North Carolina. You got to go to Wisconsin, I
It's always a
believe.
tough
And
place to play.
the Maui Invitational is happening. Even though that gym is in Lahaina, where all of that stuff happened. I don't know I believe that's happening. At least I haven't heard that it's canceled or anything. But
The Maui Invitational live from Santa Barbara or something.
maybe because that's what they did during COVID. I've never looked this up. What are they doing? Maybe it is just regular and it's just happening. Yeah, I mean, I don't see any like news about it being put off or even moved necessarily. But regardless. Oh, and yeah, Elias says they have Lenore Rhine tomorrow, which I believe is it's an exhibition. It's a warm up. It's not a regular season game. And then Tennessee Tech is the actual opening game. Probably should have looked that up before having this entire segment. But I don't know. I'm just really, really excited. Yeah, November 6th against Tennessee Tech is their first opening game there.
Oh, that Wisconsin game's the next Friday night, November 10th, 9 o'clock. That'll be a fun one.
Yeah,
You don't get a lot of good Friday night basketball games like that.
And I, of course, I'm a junkie. I'm a rare one in the Tennessee fan base. I'm like, give me whatever college basketball game you have, and I will sit down in front of my TV and watch it. But yeah, I'm just excited. I think it's a very interesting set of dudes that have a lot of talent and could probably really. I mean, you look at that; they're going to be able to put up a fight a bit against anybody, top to bottom, across the entire country. I don't think that you're going to find a team where you'll go, oh no, Tennessee couldn't at least have a chance to beat them. And that's all you could really ask for. And hopefully they really do bring it together because, I want it so badly. I want literally nothing more than a Final Four. That was always a talking point when I did radio. When you get deep into like the off season, they were like, which one would you rather have, a Final Four or a playoff for football? I'm a Final Four.
It's like the old Mount Rushmore conversation that you got to have every June or something.
I love football, and I want nothing more than to see them get back to the playoff. But I mean, we have never seen Tennessee basketball reach a Final Four. Please, before I go in the ground, Lord, please let me see a Final Four for the Tennessee Volunteers. And maybe this year is it. Hope springs eternal.